I started Visa because I wanted to create like a meeting point to combine the three links of this field. Producers of photography, photographers, consumers of photography, magazine, and distributors of photography agencies.
This was a project I did about Israeli and Palestinian couples. And Stern picked one, but I did a portrait of different couples. Would this be an interesting story for you?
In all the other festivals I knew around the world, everybody was trying to combine, art photography, fashion photography, portraits, and photojournalism. I just wanted to create an event totally dedicated to photojournalism, totally dedicated to all those people who are witnessing our world. Second reason was that photojournalism is the only part of this field of the photography which has a reality, economical reality internationally. I mean, you have much more money in fashion or in advertising photos than in photojournalism, but a fashion session taken for a Canadian magazine will never be published in a Greek magazine. A German photo session will never be published in a Brazilian magazine, but a picture taken for the Intifada or in Grozny will be sold everywhere in the world.
But for us, for us to see this really documentary who spent 5 months to a year, or 2 years he spent on juvenile prison, it's very intense to document the sadness and the problem society, in the social issue in America.
It was a challenge. I wanted to launch 13 years ago. Everybody was laughing at making fun of me because I was saying I will create the Cannes of photojournalism. So in 1989, we had 123 professionals registered. We had 7 agencies from 2 countries, France for sure, and Italy. And last year, in 2000, we had in Perpignan 193 photo agencies from 43 countries. So, and today we have almost 4,000 tags, which is I know it's very pretentious, but I think Visa is something very unique. Unique because of the atmosphere, unique because the choice we are making to show all those pictures.
Sans remords que Timothy McVeigh, l'auteur de l'attentat le plus meurtrier jamais commis aux États-Unis, 168 morts à Oklahoma City en 1995, est exécuté par injection au pénitencier de Terre Haute en Indiana. De l'AS Roma dans le championnat de foot italien. Il avait fait connaître l'écologie à la France en 1974. Les traditionnelles marches orangistes renouent avec la violence à Belfast.
Over 13 years, I didn't think anything changed. To me, you still have good photographers, bad photographers. You still have concerned photographers and more or less concerned photographers. So I'm looking, this year, I watched more than 3,000 proposals for my shows. Portfolios, not the single pictures, but because of that, I don't think there is really an evolution over the 13 last years, My point is that every year, you meet some new photographers, young photographers, talented, passionate, who want to witness the world where we live. And that's terrific. I love it because, when you meet somebody like Xolotl Salazar Bonilla, this young Mexican photographer, he's 25. He came to visit me with his portfolio on Tijuana. I loved it. It's in Perpignan. Vincent Fougère, about the insane asylum in Black Africa. I saw this work. I said, oh my God. Nobody knows him. He's so talented, so passionate that he has a show in Perpignan. That's it. End of the story. you can't put this field in a box saying, okay, this is this kind of reportage and this kind. You are talented or you are not talented. And it's a universal language, you know. The video we saw yesterday, you know, with this guy, this boy and his father shot by the Israeli army. I don't care if it's a fucking good picture, you know. When I saw this picture, I was moved. I don't care about the quality of the picture because it's why I'm not really and definitively, and I will never be an artist. I'm a journalist. And to me, what is in the picture means much more than how it looks. For example, I don't like here in Perpignan when somebody tells me, this is a beautiful picture. I don't care about the beautiful picture. I care about the power of a picture. And it's why I'm really fighting with the photographers who are selling their prints in the galleries. I don't like that because, you know, if you make a reportage in Somalia and you have a picture of a baby starving or dying, okay, I want to be moved by the baby. I don't want to look at the picture and say, oh, what a talented photographer. I want, he's a journalist. And believe me, here in Perpignan, I will never, never, never sell one single print, for sure, forever, as long as I will be in charge of that. I hope for a few more years. You have to be journalist, and journalism is much more important than everything else. I didn't think we made anything change because of Visa pour l'image. The only thing I'm proud about is that because everybody, all the picture editors know that I'm watching everything, and you know, I'm not sure there are so many people around the world who were watching more than 3,000 proposals last year. So I did. So I think that because of that, and picture editors and director of photography know that, so they know, because they know me, they trust me, they know that when there is something in Perpignan, it's really the top of the top. With my bad taste, for sure, but at least, for example, on the about the Intifada, I selected Jan Grarup and Chris Anderson. I think they are really among the best works I've seen on this feature. Actually, I think that 85% of the features I'm showing in the exhibition or in the screening find a publication in the next 6 months. And that's the proof that my work is not just for the fun, you know, because there is some magazines, I will not mention them because it could be very impolite, but believe me, I know a few magazines, England, Germany, you look my program and you look the magazine after Perpignan. Until the end of January, it's my choice. They should give me half of their income. But you know, I have the best magazine in the world. It's called Visa pour l'image. I have the best printing. I have the best layout. There are no ad pages between the features. Unfortunately, I have one problem with that. I have just one issue a year, and you can't subscribe. The stories have to be either in an exhibition or in a screening. For example, let me take a good example. We tried 13 years ago to make a screening with Henri Cartier-Bresson. Huge, 8 meters on the screen. It didn't work. It didn't work. So Walker Evans, the exhibition I made with Fortune magazine, those prints are very small. They have to be like this. You can't make a huge print. And besides this, the slideshow, it has to be huge. And with the rhythm and with the music and with a text. And so. Every night we have some features and with a short text at the beginning of the screening. We don't think that you need a text. I think that once you get the main line, the baseline, you understand the story. So, you know, you have some exhibition with some captions, short, like Bruce Gilden, long, like Stanley Green. And at the night show, you have a text to introduce, and then let's pick the images. Another reason for me to decide to run a screening instead of an exhibition. For example, tonight you will see the Fusco's work on Chernobyl. I think Visa has such an impact because photographers know that I will always be beside them to show their work, even if it's terrible, even if there is not one single magazine in this world which wants to buy the feature, I will show it. I will always be beside the photographer. I'm a former photographer. I have this duty, I have to do it. Stories in black and white. To me, it's not a question of being better, but the question is that it's true that the magazines are mainly in color. If a photographer is running a story in black and white, it's because he knows that there is no magazine which will be interested in his story. So he's not working anymore for, you know, everybody says the photojournalism is dying. This is the most stupid question I heard. You know, as long as you will meet some photographers like David Douglas Duncan, who is in Perpignan, Stanley Green, Paolo Pellegrin, Ziv Koren, Noël Kidu, Marie Dorini, Jocelyn Bain-Hogg, all of them. Photojournalism is still alive and in a very good shape, thank you for him. The press is sick, the magazines are sick, because magazines wants to publish some stories about Demi Moore and Bruce Willis. I love Demi Moore, I'm dreaming about Demi Moore, but I don't give a shit to know what she's doing in her life. Okay, so it's, you know, I'm living in a real world, and Paul Fusco, with his book, is in the real world. Demi Moore is a virtual world, so I don't care. Why this kind of event is in France and not in America? I think that the French audience is so respectful with the journalism. We have such a respect for photographers. I don't think something like this could happen in America. You know, first, because of the spaces. You know, my Convent des Minimes, Saint-Dominique, Chapelle Sainte-Claire are so unique spaces. And it works, and it's part of that. When you see palms, it's magical. And to hang a show in a space like Couvent des Minimes, it works. Why? Because you hang a story on a wall which has its own story. And it works because there is like a dialogue between the wall and the story you put on. And that's it. So, you know, I'm supported by Canon in Japan, Kodak in America, and they never asked me to run such a festival in America. I'm okay. I was part of the jury for the POY in 2000. It was interesting for me. I have to say something, and I told them, I was a little bit shocked because for the daily part, you know, it seemed to me that I didn't see one single feature on Algeria. I didn't see one single feature on Chechnya. Everything was focused about America. I'm sorry, America is not like a big island. There is a world outside of America. Here in Perpignan, we are speaking about international world, and we are concerned by Chechnya, Kabylia, by United States too, but not only United States. So that's, to me, the main difference between Perpignan and the Missouri. Yes, we give some award, Visa d'Or for the magazine feature, Visa d'Or for the news, Visa d'Or for the daily press, Kodak Young Photographer Award, Woman Photographer Award with Canon. We give many prizes, but there is not like a palmarès, you know. It's not the same philosophy, but mainly we are part of the world. And in Missouri, I was a little bit shocked because I don't know, I was making fun with Joe Elbert from the Washington Post, because you know, when you were watching, when we were watching the Society, you had, I don't know, 53 stories with kids in Massachusetts who had no arms, and another story was on a boy who had no legs in Alabama, and I told Joe, I said, you know, if I was an ET coming in my flying saucer into this competition, I would think, okay, there is not one single kid in this fucking country who has 2 arms and 2 legs. That's it. But what about Chechnya? What about Algeria? What about Somalia? What